Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton again, and today I'm going to give you a pro walkthrough for the Euro Championship tournament. So, this pro walkthrough, it'll be pretty detailed, especially on a couple of the holes that I think are going to be super important for us to drop in order to get ourselves into the top 10 position and, really compete for the gold banner. So, normally I feel like I'm dialed in by Wednesday of qualifying. And coming into today, I wasn't too confident, but I had some good ideas on some shots in order to get them to drop. So I wanted to wait on this video just one day longer than normal to make sure what I had written down on my notes I would be able to execute. And the good news is I was able to. So I found some really good shots today that we're going to go over. So, if you like this, please subscribe. I'm almost to 600 subscribers, so if you could please hit the subscribe button, that would be awesome. And if you're feeling generous, you can also donate to my channel. So go out here, take a look at my shots. If it helps you out, if you have a really good finish, please come back and throw a couple bucks my way. That would be super appreciated. If you're somebody who will do that, you can find out how to do so in the comments section. So let's hop into hole number one. Hole number one is going to be a par 3. And it's a pretty good chance here for a hole-in-one. Do I think it's going to be super consistent? Meaning if you line it up the same way every single time and you hit perfect, is it going to drop every time? No. But I do feel like, if we follow this guide right here that I wrote down, we'll probably get it once. And if we're lucky, we'll get it both times. Maybe we won't get it at all. But we're super close. And the crazy part about this is I'm seeing so many people roll down the left-hand side of the green here and into the bunker, and they're not making it to save the hole. So, the way I'm going to show you is a really good line for a hole-in-one, but it's also going to avoid, rolling into the rough there. So, we're guaranteed to pick up the birdie. But either way, here's what we're doing. So it's going to be a 30% elevation shot. We're going to play at max distance of our Goliath, and I know we're not at absolute max, but we are going to use max numbers. That's what's working. And the spin, no matter what the wind mile per hour is going to be the same. And we're going to use one back spin, one left spin. And you see that I wrote down +4 here. We're looking at the +4 yard mark on our Goliath when we set this shot up. So, let me show you. All right. So here we go. And it doesn't matter what level Goliath you have. If you're playing pro, you should at least have probably a 7 or above. But regardless, you see I'm looking at the +4 yard mark there. And I zoomed in to check my ball guideline, so I'll go back to the still shot here in a second and show you the ball guideline. But again, 10%, and I am looking for a slight 1159 pull angle. It's not the biggest deal in the world if you don't use pull angles, but on this particular hole, because of the way the green rolls, 1159 does help you dial in this shot. And you can see we snuck it into the cup there for a hole-in-one. But back to here, I want you to look at the tip of my ball guideline. So take a look at where the cup is on the green. So if we're looking at the pin and the cup that the ball rolls into, it's kind of like it's in this light green section. So to the left of the cup is dark green. The cup is lined up with light green, and then to the right of the cup is dark green. Well, I'm looking for my ball guideline to be aiming at the cup, but kind of the corner of that light green square. So I hope that makes sense if you're looking at it. This is how you want it to be, and this is the specific as you got to get in order to get this ball to drop. But again, I know that's a lot to do in 30 seconds, especially since this is the first time you're seeing my video. But the good news is if you're just now playing around, you have 2 shots to get this figured out going into the final round. But you do want the tip of your ball guideline kind of right there, splitting the corner up of that light green section, aiming at the pin. So you saw that replay for a hole-in-one. I'll show it to you again. So this time we have 6 mile an hour wind. I tried to crop this so in hope that it would zoom in a little further. But again, we're applying the spin. We're looking for the +4 yard mark. And I'm looking for the tip of my ball guideline to be aiming at the pin, but kind of the corner of that square. And max pull with an 1159 pull angle at 30%. And that time we came in dead center. So that's 6 miles an hour. The first shot was 4.5. And then we have another one here that I did. I forgot what the wind was, but it was in the 6s again. But anyways, you get the point. You can see this one was the Goliath 7 instead of the Goliath 8 and 9 that I used. So I just showed you a Goliath 7, 8, and 9. And we'll fast forward here. Perfect ball. And we snuck it in the left-hand side of the cup that time. So there it is. So 3 hole-in-ones to show you there, and that give you a really good setup there for hole number 1. Okay, now hole number 2. So we're going to spend quite a bit of time on hole number 2, unfortunately, because some people play with money balls, some people don't. If you have been following me for a long time, you know I don't like to play with money balls on pro. Every once in a while, I'll do so on a par 3 if there's just a really good rough bump line, and that way I can basically eliminate wind, just hit a perfect shot, and it goes right in. This tournament doesn't have one of those. So on this particular hole, you know, you are seeing quite a lot of people birdie this par 5, and you just can't do that if you're going to be at the top of the standings. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch of different ways to play this hole, and depending on what clubs and ball you want to use, I pretty much have all bases covered. So here's an APOC 5 with a snow globe, and this is going to allow us to get past the green. Oh, not the green, but this is going to allow us to get past the rough. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing this shot at 10% elevation, and then I'm pushing my target back up to max, and then I'm just basically taking a full overpower shot. The nice part about this is you can see I hit a severe great left here. It doesn't really affect the shot at all because there's a lot of fairway to bounce through and roll up. So, you know, you don't have to hit perfect on this, which is what I really like about this particular shot. But you do need that type of ball in order to execute that shot. Now, let me show you something here on shot number 2. I had been playing this one at no elevation, but I was missing severely to the right-hand side. So we are changing this to minus 20%. So not 20% over, but under minus 20%. But I do want to show you what happens if you use too much topspin on this rough bump. You can get a significant roll here. Now, thank goodness I was able to save that shot. But let's rewind it real fast. You know, most streamers don't put in their shit shots. But I want to show you, you know, a really bad shot that I took here. It's too much topspin. So if you are not finding a good line to the hole, that's way too much topspin on this hole. And you can see my ball guideline goes me right at pin. The most you can get away with on this hole is about 4 topspin. So you need to find a different area of the rough to do the rough bump. Or if you're scared that's going to happen to you, just aim above the rough and use a lot of backspin to the hole. And then you're guaranteed an eagle. It'll be hard to get an albatross that way. But I wanted to show you a bad shot to show you this is too much topspin. Don't do this. It's very deceiving, the ball guideline. So if you have an extra mile level 9, then you can use a berserker, okay? It's going to be the same shot. 10% elevation, full topspin, no side spin, push up to max. And I'm just fast forwarding here to save time. But you can see we roll through with plenty of fairway left. You know, that's pretty simple there. Now, I wanted to show you this. So here again, I'm trying to find that rough bump. And really, I'm too high up on the rough. That's what I found out. I need to lower it. But I didn't want to use all this topspin again because we know what happens. But, you know, let's show you another one. So here's an extra mile 8 with a berserker. We'll fast forward this a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. So basically what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to pull this back a little bit until my ball guideline is nicely on the fairway, just like that. I'm using, what, about 4.5 top with 2 side spin. And again, I'm going to do a 10% adjustment. You'll see my yellow ring here is on the rough line. I'm going to adjust this 10% at mid-distance of my extra mile. And then I'm using about 3/4 of a ball of curl. I even hit a great left, and I was still okay on this drive. I do like this drive. So if you're going to play without a snow globe, or if you don't have an extra mile 9, I do like that drive a lot. The thing I don't like about it is shot number 2. I don't like having to play underneath this sand here and close to the rough, because if you hit a great shot, you could be screwed. But anyways, we're going top spin to the pin. If you're playing this route, it's a pretty safe eagle. You really can't mess this one up like I did on that replay that I showed you, unless you hit a great shot and go sand or rough. Pretty safe eagle right there. All right, so now let's show you another way to play it. This is with an APOC 4 and a Wind 4 ball. No, not a Wind 4, sorry, a Power 4 ball. But it's going to be the same type of drive. Just with an APOC, it allows us to use a little bit more curl. So you can see I can get quite a bit more curl here on my APOC. And I'm sorry I'm spending so much time on a hole 2. I just know there's a lot of options on it. So you can see there, that allows us to get more distance on the drive on that fairway portion there. And then because we're using a Power 4 ball, we get to play above the sand instead of below the sand. So even safer eagle, and a really, really good chance for an Albatross here. I'm playing this one with no elevation. All right, you don't need to see the shot. I didn't make it. The green rolls pretty well here. I would just aim a little bit more right to the pin than I did, because the ball slopes from right to left. So aim right of the pin and dial that one in. All right, so we're done with that hole. You play it however you want. Hole number 3 gives us a really good opportunity for an eagle. And let's pause this for a second, because, I always encourage you, if you're watching me, to take notes, because I will give you some little nuggets on things that I've tested myself that you don't have to worry about going out there and finding. So first thing first is, I don't care what extra mile you got. Like if you have a 9, don't use more than 4.5 top spin, because I have slider adjustments to give you guys that I've tested, that I know that are pretty good. So first things first, take the drive, and we're going to be doing it with a 4.5 top spin and 3 bars of left side spin, so full left spin. And at minimum, we want to get about 342 yards on our drive. So we hit 344 there. Now, if you use a slider, then you're going to have a better chance to drop this shot. If you don't use a slider, I want you to write down on your second shot whatever your app says. So for example, here I'm showing you right now live. We're going to play it with no elevation and with a Power 2 ball, because that's a katana. But let's say that you get, 3.5 mile wind on the second shot. That's too low. Let's say you get 5 mile per hour wind on the second shot. You see how it says to pull 2.2 rings with mid-distance of your club? You are going to use mid-distance numbers, but I want you to add 0.4 to that elevation. So instead of pulling 2.2, you're going to pull 2.6, okay? That's going to get you pretty close to dropping the shot. But if you want to be very specific, you can write this down. If you hit your drive at a minimum 342 yards, you're going to use 70% slider. From there, every yard over, you're going to subtract 2% of your slider, okay? That's how the slider works. So at 342 yards, 70% slider. If you hit it 343 yards, 68% slider. 344 yards, 66% slider, and so on. You get it, okay? Now, oh man, did I not save a replay where I made the eagle? Oh, okay, here we go. So this is a shot to pin before I had my slider adjustments. And you can see I just burned the edge of the cup there. So let me go back a little bit because it's a rough bump. Okay, so we're lining up the rough bump here. We're going to use about 1 to 1.5 bars of top spin. That just depends on how much distance you get on the drive. But you can see we're having headwind, and the wind is blowing slightly to the left-hand side. So this was a shot with no slider and no elevation at mid-distance that I took. This was helping me figure out the slider. But you can see if you're not using a slider, if you were to just add maybe, 0.3, sometimes 0.4 to the adjustment, again, that depends on how far you get up on your drive. If I'd add a 0.3 here, that ball would have snuck into the cup. But use a slider or just add the extra that I told you, and you'll be good to go there. I guess I didn't save a replay where I dropped a shot. I dropped it twice now, so the sliders are pretty consistent. So we'll hop into hole number 4 here. Hole number 4 is going to be played at 15%, and I'm using max distance of my sniper, and in this replay, I'm using a navigator. And we're going to use 1.5 top and half a bar, not even half a bar, like a third of a bar of left side spin. Now, the thing I hate about this hole is the inconsistent ball guideline. You need to have your white ring around the sand here until you find a good, consistent ball guideline like that. So here, I'll rewind it for a second. See the ball guideline? That's really good. That's what you want your ball of the guideline to look like. As soon as you find that, pull it. 15% adjustment. Max distance of your sniper. And if you can favor a 1201 pull angle, that's going to help you out a lot getting this ball closer to the hole. Because you're going to notice that you're probably going to miss this ball left almost every single time, no matter what you do. The 1201 pull angle is going to help you get that closer to the pin. As you can see, the speed is really good. We just missed to the left-hand side there. I want to look for one more thing here because I thought that I had... All right, no, never mind. I'm missing some replays. I took the shot with the Kingmaker and got even closer, but it was the same adjustment. I just played with the Kingmaker instead. All right, so now we're going to talk about this hole. This is one that I think we have to get an eagle on in order to win the tournament. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to play the drive. I'm going to show you just a regular shot, and then I'm going to show you a super aggressive shot if you want to take a risk. So... this one I have an extra mile 9, so I have more top spin than most people that have an extra mile 8. But I don't want you to worry about that because if you're using extra mile, 7, 8, just use full top spin and 2 bars of right side spin. And just pull this one at 10% elevation and take your shot. The good news is that's a really safe drive. And you can see we get really good distance up there. And then we're a short shot to the pin with a thorn. But if you're somebody who doesn't mind using money balls in pro, and I'm struggling in this tournament more than I do most tournaments, so I just wanted to see if I could make this happen. And I actually found this kind of in a pissed off way. So I hit a severely great shot to the left, and I dropped the ball in the water. So I was just like, okay, well, what happens if I pull out a snow globe? Can I get to the green? And check this out. This is how I'm going to be playing this hole from here on out. So, I'm going to go full top spin and 2 bars of right side spin. And here I'm just, trying to visualize what's going to happen with my ball, because we don't have a ball guideline to mess around with. So I'm going to pull this 10%. I'm going to push back up to max. And we're going to use full overpower with a tad bit of right curl. And you're better off to hit great left, I think, than a great right, because I think a great right could put you in the rough or the sand over there. But look at that. That's pretty freaking sweet. That's an automatic eagle. So play it however you want to. There's a normal way. There's a super aggressive way. And you're going to be good. All right, hole number 6. Hole number 6, pretty easy hole. You know, you are seeing a lot of people birdie this hole because they're screwing up the drive. And it's easy to do if you don't know what you're doing. One, some people are hitting the sand there in the middle of the fairway, and you're dead in the water to get to the green in 2. And then some people are hitting the ball too hard, and they're rolling into the rough at the top of the fairway here. Well, here's what you want to do to avoid that. Use a Titan, and this is your spin right here. Full left, 1/2 of a bar of backspin, okay? You need your ball to calm down whenever you hit the fairway here. I'm going to put my yellow ring on the rough side, all right? So you can see here in this example, my green ring is on the rough. You don't want to do that. Make it the yellow. So move your target more right, because if you hit a great shot to the left, you're going to be in the rough. But we're going to use a tad bit of overpower and 1/2 of a bar, 1/2 of a ball of left curl. And you're going to see this is a very consistent drive. You have no fear of sand, and you have no fear of rolling too far. That half backspin is key. That's a really good drive. It gives us an awesome shot for an Albatross here. So now you'll have your Titan. You'll use, you know, between 2.5 to 3 bars of topspin. Just depends on how far up you get on your drive. Now you can see here I'm aiming right at the pin, but leaving my ball guideline a little bit short. Now I move it over to the left because the ball rolls from left to right. That's going to be really important if you're trying to get the Albatross on this hole. And this is going to be a no elevation shot. And we missed it just a little bit to the left. So we just need to sneak that into the right-hand side a little bit more. Okay. Hole number 7. This is also probably a must-eagle in order to win the tournament. Now, again, I'm taking this shot with an extra mile 9. And I'm going to tell you what I did wrong. But you won't see it on this one because this drive worked out. First of all, if you have an extra mile 9, I don't want you to use full topspin. I want you to use 6 topspin at max. Because if you hit a part of this fairway up here that we're going for, the ball will catch a little glitch and it will roll into the rough, which makes the second shot much harder. I mean, you're still an automatic birdie, and it's a very short chip in with your Nirvana or whatever, you know, rough iron you use. But 6 top spin, 2 left spin, that's the key for this hole. And this is how you're going to play it. So again, I recommend 6 top spin, 2 left. And it's going to be important that the second bounce is in the rough, so the ball just rolls out onto the fairway there. So second bounce in the rough, ball guideline on the fairway, 10%, normal shot, no overpower. All right, so that's really good. That's where you want to be at. Oh, what in the world? This is out of place. Sorry. Man, what is going on with my replays here? Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm trying to look for this shot. I know I have this stuff saved somewhere. Okay, well, maybe I don't. But I have it right here. Thanks for bearing with me. I hate when I do this. All right, so, you know, when you land on the fairway, you can take a shot at pin with whatever club it's going to be. It might be a wedge, you know, it might be a short iron. it's a super inconsistent roll, and if you use too much backspin, your ball is dead. So, you know, I know there's a lot of streamers out there doing the dunk, so I decided to try to do the dunk. You can take it, see, with your wedge here if you want, or this is a fail-safe shot. Even if you miss the dunk, your ball's going to end up on the green for a putt, for a birdie. But here's the dunk shot. You know, it's just important that you put your blue target there, so the 4 arrows at the top part of the cup, but still inside the cup. I'm using no elevation, and I'm just pulling absolute minimum distance numbers with my thorn. And this is how I will be taking the shot from now on. I don't consider myself good at dunking. In fact, I rarely go for it. But I was just getting frustrated because I was not making the eagle, and it felt like it should have been an easy eagle. Sometimes I was taking it with my thorn, sometimes I was taking it with my wedge, but the ball was not going in, and the green, it just sucks from that angle, I guess. So that's the way I want you to play it. Play it with the dunk. Don't fear it like I did. I was super nervous to take it, but at the end of the day, even if you hit a great shot, you still end up on the green, but you have to go max backspin. That's very important to remember. Make sure before you take the dunk shot, you go max backspin, because if you don't and you miss, you're going to fly way past the green, but the max backspin will keep you on the green. And thanks for bearing with me on that. So back to the replays here. So now we're going to be on hole number 8, and I'll just save you time. I was going to show you how I dialed in this shot, but all you need to see is the hole-in-one. What you don't see on this replay for some reason, when I play my shots, I try to do screen recording at the same time, but sometimes I forget, and I have to go back into the replay and then screen record. And when you do that, it doesn't show like your plus yards here. But if you have a sniper 10, I want you to start at the +4 yard mark. So let me back up here so you can see the spin, because this is the spin you're going to use every single time. It's going to be 3 top and 1 half right. And look at my ball guideline. It's favoring the right-hand side of the cup, but still inside the cup. That is very important. From here, 10% adjustment. And I'm using max distance numbers of my sniper, even though we're not at complete max. Probably our best opportunity for a hole-in-one in pro, in my opinion. That ball's going to roll super smooth. I've got it twice now, both times today. So 2 for 2 on that shot at the +4 yard mark. 3 top, half right, max numbers. Favor the right-hand side of the cup, and the shot's dropping for me. You know, but we may get with higher wind. We may get hit with lower wind. We'll see. I made it at 6.5, and I made it at 6.4. So they were both very similar. All right, hole number 9. Again, this is a situation where I just want you to use 6 bars of top spin. You can use full top spin if you have an extra mile 9. But I did find 6 bars of top spin was really good. 2 bars of left spin. It's a very simple drive. You're just going from fairway to fairway. You're going to pull at 20% elevation, though. And what we're going to spend more time on is shot number 2. So you can see here, you know, we're bouncing from fairway to fairway, yada, yada, yada. No big deal. That's an easy drive, hard to screw up. But what I want you to do on shot number 2 is I want you to use full right spin. Right off the bat, full right spin and about a bar of top spin. Now, the top spin will vary depending on how far you get up on your drive. But what I want you to look at, and I'm going to pause it, is the ball guide. Back it up. All right, ball guideline needs to be pointing at the cup. Now, it's going to be hard to see, but this is pretty specific to get the Albatross. So there's an area right here in the middle of the cup where the square to the left-hand side of the cup goes to dark green to light green. The dark green is top side of the cup. The light green is bottom side of the cup. I want you to see that the end of my ball guideline is in the the dark green area. That's going to be very important. If you don't do that, you're going to miss this ball probably short. Well, you will miss short because that's how I dial it in. Watch. So, watch where this comes in. Okay, you see how it comes in short? Now let's watch how I fix this. Dude, where are all my freaking replays? Okay, so here we go. Full right and about a bar top. I'm going to pause it again so you can see what I did to fix it. Go back. All right, that's a better view of the light green and dark green. Do you see how my ball guideline there is top of the pin in the dark green? That is really important, or else you're going to fall short like I did. So top of the hole there in the dark green square, and then I'm using no elevation, mid distance. I know that's very specific, but a lot of times you have to be specific for an albatross. I do think this is an albatross we can drop every single time, and I'm counting on it. So exactly where we aimed, right into the pin. So thanks for sticking with me on this one, guys. I'm pretty excited about the type of score that we can put up. I do think this is a tournament that we can definitely compete to win. We have a lot of good replays here, a lot of good shots lined up. Again, if you find it helpful, please subscribe.